العقيدة وأثرها في الأمة الإسلامية.
Those of us who leave Islam publicly often get the "you were never a Muslim" card. Heck, I know Ali Dawa tried this on me when I first left Islam. We actually hear this all the time.
When your religion relies on witnesses over evidence.
This video is flawed right from the beginning. Eyewitnesses are evidence. If you say otherwise, then you're just negating most of history.
You know what's interesting about this? Aladdin just recently, he did an interview with the next Muslim, Lily. She's an ex-convert, and I only watched the beginning of the video so far, and I watched one of his other live streams with her, and she converted, I think it was during Ramadan. That's a shahada right there. Convert during Ramadan.
The month of Ramadan is a completely separate matter to taking the shahada. Taking the shahada during the month of Ramadan has no impact on its validity, its sincerity, or its quality.
There's so many converts out there that never wear the hijab, and they claim the title of Muslim. So how do we know they're not fake? Is Andrew Tate a real Muslim? Like, what's the most Muslim thing he does?
Yeah, let's open up the most Muslim thing he does. Oh, it's so funny. He's not... he has pictures of him drinking and eating and smoking in Ramadan. I think the most Muslim thing he's done is him on his bed reading the Quran half naked.
I never even saw this until he showed me.
Yeah.
This is pretty
funny.
This is eye bleach.
So yeah, is Andrew Tate a Muslim?
Abdullah Samir and his wife here are suggesting that Muslims should become takfiri khawarij, who make takfir of people for doing sins in public. What's the evidence that this is among the traits of the khawarij? Sheikh bin Baz said that the khawarij made takfir of people for committing sins and believed that all sinners were doomed to the fire forever. The Prophet ﷺ said in an authentic hadith, the khawarij are the dogs of the hellfire. So no, we as Muslims are not going to make takfir over sins like not wearing hijab.
In the world of Muslim converts, there are plenty of questionable ones. We have Mr. and Mrs. Muslim, who fundraised a bunch of money, also known as Jay and Christy. Where are they now, may you ask? I don't know, and I'm not sure if anybody else knows either. But they got a lot of money, and now they're gone. They're only gone until they need more money.
Abdullah Samir's wife just couldn't hide her jealousy this time. A random Muslim couple managed to raise some money for themselves once. Mind you, just once. And here she comes, foaming at the mouth, twisting the worst possible narrative. And of course, she hits us with her classic bitter take, saying, "They're only Muslim when they need more money." Really? That's the best you could come up with. The couple is still Muslim. They didn't suddenly change their faith after collecting donations. But no, she dug up some obscure random petition from 2 years ago, created by someone who clearly has personal issues, and decided that was her grand piece of evidence. Imagine relying on that to justify your own insecurities. And let's not even talk about their own financial tactics. Begging for money from every Islamophobe and ex-Muslim under the sun, pandering to the lowest common denominator just to keep the cash flowing. These people have no real principle, it's all about the money. Every ex-Muslim video they put out, every forced controversy, it's all about one thing: getting paid. Truth, honesty, integrity, nowhere to be found. And then we have their absolutely stellar reasoning for leaving Islam. Imagine standing in front of a crowd with all the confidence in the world and saying, "I left Islam because I couldn't find Yajuj and Majuj on Google Earth."
Tribe of people, Yajuj and Majuj, Gog and Magog, behind a giant gate built of copper and iron. And I was wondering, where is this place? How come we can't find it? You know, we have Google Earth and all that.
Let that sink in. That is the intellectual depth we're dealing with. Not research, not critical thinking, just a quick Google search. The sheer irony of preaching about rationality while making arguments like that. But at the end of the day, we all know the game they're playing. It's not about the truth, it's not about justice, it's about making sure those donation links stay active.
The fact that so many discover problematic hadith and Quran verses on their own highlights the deception and secrecy there is surrounding the disturbing parts of Islam. Muslim children's books never talk about stoning and punishments. Children are indoctrinated with a sanitized version of Islam. If they're curious enough, they will find out the bad on their own after years of being a Muslim. There's a reason children are shielded from these things. Either the parents still do not know their religion, or if they do, they know these things are inappropriate to teach kids. While there are some nice things Muhammad said and did, the bad greatly outweighs the good.
Abdullah Samir's wife is telling us that as Muslims, we should be teaching our kids about things completely inappropriate for their age, like the details of sexual intercourse and punishments like stoning. Because apparently, if we don't, we're somehow hiding the truth. I mean, imagine sitting an 8-year-old down and going, "Okay, today's lesson is about capital punishment." Maybe that's how she does things in her household. Maybe by the time her kids hit 3rd grade, they've already memorized and fully analyzed the constitution of whatever country she's in. Who knows? But let's be real, this is just a terrible, awful argument. Parents everywhere, regardless of religion, understand that you introduce topics to kids in an age-appropriate way. Nobody sits their child down in kindergarten and gives them a lecture on the complexities of legal punishments. That's called common sense. Yet here she is, pretending that Muslims are somehow being dishonest or hiding something simply because we don't dump heavy, mature topics on children. Meanwhile, she conveniently ignores how every other society follows the same logic when it comes to age-appropriate education. But of course, when Muslims do it, suddenly it's a problem. It's just another classic example of reaching for any argument, no matter how weak, no matter how absurd, just to have something to say. At the end of the day, it's the same tired routine. Bad faith arguments, hypocritical standards, and a desperate attempt to keep the anti-Islam cash flow running. Whether it's twisting narratives about Muslims raising money, pushing absurd expectations on how we teach our kids, or leaving Islam over a failed Google search. The pattern's clear. Truth doesn't matter, logic doesn't matter, only the grift does. And that's why no one takes them seriously outside their little echo chamber.
إن الذين آمنوا ثم كفروا ثم آمنوا ثم كفروا ثم ازدادوا كفرا لم يكن الله ليغفر لهم ولا ليهديهم سبيلا